Evening all. So welcome back to this 4 days of ReactJS workshop from beginner to advanced level. So if you are joined the workshop, and can you please tell your name in the chat box? Okay. So if you are joined the workshop, just tell your name in the chat box. We will start the workshop within sharply 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. So basically, this is a 4 days of workshop. The 2 days is already completed. We have completed it, and the we right now we're going to discuss about the third day, where we're going to discuss about the conditional rendering. We're going to discuss about a lot more things. Okay. Hi, hi, all, hi. Yeah. Okay. So we will discuss it. Okay. So I just give a quick introduction about the past day class and what is the workshop and what is the procedure that you need to follow, and also about the today's what we're going to discuss in React.js. That is also we're going to discuss. So let me tell that. Okay. So yeah, when it comes to the past 2 days, we have worked with what is actually React.js and what is component, what is class-based components, what is function-based component, and what is property, how to work with props, and what is JSX, and all those things, the structure of React and everything we have discussed. And today, what we're going to cover, basically, we're going to cover about the most important thing. So that is, we're going to discuss about the conditional rendering. We're going to discuss about like in last days we have discussed about how to list render. That is also we have discussed. We're going to discuss about the conditional rendering and the states in React.js, how to handle states in both the class-based component and function-based component, and how to work with the event handlers. Okay, so that is also we're going to discuss it. And probably if you completed these part, then probably you can able to create a website and you can able to work with that. And once we done with that, maybe tomorrow we will go and walk with the life cycles and hooks. Is there any course where you can tell the complete web development starting from HTML and CSS and all? So actually, there is a courses there. You can check it out. So actually, we have a 12 hours of boot camp so available. You can check out that one, or you can able to, or you can check a playlist. Okay, so for HTML we have a 5 days playlist, and for CSS we have a 5 days playlist. CSS project we have 5 days playlist, like that. Each and every language we have a 5 days of playlist will be there. For project playlist is also there, and everything will be there. Just scroll down to the previous day. Everything is in live, not a pre-recorded video or everything. Everything is taken in live only. Just scroll down to the live section, and you can able to see the playlist. What are the playlist are? Tells about the parent and child communication redux. No, we haven't like for this workshop. That is we are not going to work with the state managements like redux and everything. Okay, so this is just a beginner friendly who doesn't know about React, and who just want to start with React to understand the concepts and syntax. So basically, they can use it there. But after that, maybe I think 24 to 28, you will have an advanced to master level. Okay, so during that time, you will know about how to manage the states and how to manage even for here, we're going to discuss about only two hooks. Okay, so all other hooks are discussed by Nabidu Biswasar after next week. Okay, so after completion of this week, you're going to have another week also. Maybe that is also, maybe it's going to be a React one. It is an advanced to mastery one. During that one, we will discuss about that one. Okay, so this is very beginner friendly. People right now only it's just started. Most of the people are like that, so it is useful for them. Okay, if you already know about that, then you want to learn it, you can wait for a week. Okay, so it starts from 24, 25, and 27 and 28, these 4 days. Okay, so you will get to know about Redux, and probably all other state managements other than the Redux. So we have other state management, right? So you will learn all those things during that time. Okay, yeah. So these are all the things. Okay, and tell about the procedures. Exactly, it is going to be same. If you are a newcomer, I just want to tell one thing. Like, we will share you an attendance form at the end of all the live class. Okay, you just want to fill the attendance form. If you fill the attendance form, you will receive an certificate from the TWD, the participation certificate of 4 days of workshop, that you will receive. Okay, to get the certification, like you need to fill all the 4 days of attendance form. And today only you are joined. Right now only you joined. You don't join to the previous 2 day class. Then you can watch the live chat is also enabled. You can watch the entire video again, and you can check the live chat, and you can able to see a form, take the form and fill it. Okay, and at the end of this meet I will provide an attendance form. That is a third attendance form for third day. And also I will provide some WhatsApp group if you want to join. If you are completely new, you want to join, and you want to communicate with your local peers, you can communicate with that. We have tons of WhatsApp groups and people are there. They will ask the doubts and communicate with us. Okay, so I will share that too. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so we will just get started with our work today. Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah, can able to see the screen, right? So let I open the project file that we already worked with previously. Mm, the file that we worked with is React workshop, right? This one. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, this is a file that we already worked with. Okay, so this is what we already worked with, and we have done a couple of things. We have discussed about the list entering and everything. So now we're going to discuss about, first we will go with looking into event listeners, and then we will move on to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first we will start the server. So for starting the server, we need to type npm start, and I'm just going to start the server, and it is going to start a server for us. I think we will get a server here. Yeah. Okay, so this is a file that we have worked with, and we have discussed a lot here. Okay, so today the first topic that we're going to discuss is all about, we know about how to destructure things and the props and everything we have discussed. We're going to discuss about event handlings. Okay, so speaking about event handlings, the first thing is, in what is the main difference between React and JavaScript is, we have discussed about React. JavaScript is a imperative programming language, which means like it's a way of like, we need to tell everything. Okay, so you need to get this element and you need to add an event listener to it. When some the event listeners occurs, then you need to do this. Like that, we need to tell the step by step procedure for what the for language that you need to follow. Okay, so that's what we will do. And React is a declarative programming language, which means like we will have a starting stage and we're going to have an ending stage, and we will connect it with the event handler. Okay, so that state is called as states. That is what we're going to discuss about. And event handler is like the click event, double click event. If someone clicks it, someone double clicks it, what would happen? So that's what the event handler is. Okay, so that's what it is. So we're going to discuss about how to handle an event in the function based component. It is very easy in function based component, but when it comes to class based component, it is a bit complicated. Okay, so first what we will do, we go for app.js, and let me remove all the previously added element, these two components. Okay, I just going to remove it. Now probably going to have nothing. Okay, so for simplicity purpose, I just going to say hello world here. So we will check it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a file, and I just going to name this file. Yeah, I just going to name this file as functional event.js. Functional event.js. Okay. This is the file name, and here we're going to create a function component. It's going to say import React from React. This like writing function based component, you don't want to import the component every time, but it is good to import because you in class based component you need to import. So during that time, if you are not imported means then it will cause a package error. So you can just import it for everywhere. Okay. So here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a component. For creating a component, I just going to use a functional event. Going to use an arrow function. This function is going to return. This function is going to return. Okay. What it is going to return? Well, this is going to return a div. Okay. And this div contains a button. Okay. And this button is going to have a click button. Now we need to add an event listener for this button only. So before that, we can export it. Okay. It just say default. What we need to export it into functional event. And make sure that your component will have it will be in the caps letter. Okay. So that's a import it. So I just go and say I just what is the component that I want? We need the functional event. You can see it is automatically imported. If it is not, then go and add the import module and just import it. Okay. Give a space slash like this. Okay. We have imported it. And now you have to see a button here. Instead of the hello world, we removed it. So we have a button here. So now what we're going to do, if someone clicks this button, well, I need to print something in my console. Okay. So that is the functionality that I want to write. So how can I do it? Okay. Here we will add an event listener. The same. And make sure that this is an another advantage. Okay. So what is that advantage? We already speak about that. When we are writing components, like React is a component based UI library. So when we are writing a component, so we going to add all our JavaScript file and also in HTML file in a single page, right? So which means if you have any error, okay, if you have any error in that particular component, you will go for that particular page and you will change it and you will do whatever you want to do, you will do it. Okay. So this way you will not harm any other files or any other things and everything. Okay, so that is a very good one because in normal terms, when we are working with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we have separate file. So the principle of distribution, right? So we will create a separate file. So during that time, what will happen means if I try to change something in a normal JavaScript file, the we like we have there's a high possibility to change some other thing also. Okay, so it will affect some other thing also. But here, each and every component is separated, like each and every home, and they are colonized together to form an area. So like that. So here, each and everything is separated in a component. If I there is an issue in a single home, then I can go into that home and I can change it. It will not affect any other homes, right? So that's what it is. Okay, simple. So here, I just going to add an event called on event. Okay, and this it is going to take a JavaScript function, right? So this for the JavaScript function, you need to give a curly braces. So what it is going to take? Well, it is going to take up a function. Okay, either you can create a function here, or what you can do, you can create a function. I can say function. Okay, I just going to say event, handle event. This handle event here, it is going to say console.log button like this. Okay, we just created a function. Now what I want to do, I just want to add this function inside it. Simple, same JavaScript code what we have written. We are adding an like event listener to it. So if someone clicks it, it is going to execute a function. So in JavaScript we will use double quotation, but here it is an JSX syntax. We need to use the curly braces to mention the JavaScript to call the JavaScript function, and we are calling the function, and it is going to execute a verb for us. And now if I just give a refresh and if I click it, you can see we will get this button is clicked. Okay, so this is how we will add the event listener. And with the help of this event listeners, we can able to change the state also. Okay, states also. We'll discuss that later. Okay, so this is what event handler, and this is how you need to add the event. So not only on click event, there are so much of events is that you can probably where you want to add, you can add it. Okay, so let me see how to add an event listener, the same event listener in a class based component. The function based component, it is pretty easy, right? On click, given curly braces instead of quotation, curly braces, call the function name, it will be work. That's what function based component. Let me see how it will be work in the class based component. So I'm just going to say what is the name we have given. It is going to be function based or something. Here I just going to say one thing, we will put this one inside components. Okay, okay, and now here let me import an event from the dot slash component slash function. Components. What is the spelling? Compo NG. Okay, NGETS. I have written something differently. Okay. Now let's get started. Okay. Let me add from dot slash components. Okay, this is not inside. Now put inside. Okay. Components. Now create. Okay. Compo. Okay. We will do one thing. Here we will create another file. Functional event. Yeah. Now here we will create another file that is inside this component. Let me call it class event. Okay. Dot JS. So you can use any module. Right now we remove this one. Okay. Remove this one. Add functional event. Let me restart our server. app.src index.js could not find. So that is we are facing an error. So what is we are facing? I think okay. I just moved the index.js file outside. So sorry, I just moved the index.file outside. That is why the error is coming. Now I think npm stop. Now probably it will works. Let us right click. Yeah, inspect console. So I put this index.html inside this component. So we should not do something like that. Okay, that's one. So now we have created another one that is class event, right? So let me create a class-based component. Okay, instead of this function-based component, let me see that how it is going to work. We don't want all those things. We just only want app.js file, and then we want this class component, class event, and okay. Here I just going to say React, and here I just going to restructure the component. Okay, because I wanted component. This one. Okay, I wanted. So I'm just going to say. Here I just going to say class. The name is going to be class event. Okay, it is extends from a component. Okay, it extends from a component. And here I just going to say handle. This is the function that we're going to add. Before that, we will add our render. What we need to render. We'll check and import it whether it is working perfectly or not like that. Let's just say return. Here it is going to return what I do. Okay. Here it is going to have another button. Okay. And this is going to have click me. What is this button? It is going to be a click me button. And let me export it. Export default as event. Okay. And where we need to import app.js file. So let us import it here as event slash include. Now we are getting this click me. So here we're going to add a function for this button. So let me add it. Same on. You can see it's just going to add an on click event. And here what you need to add is you need to add a function, right? So let me create a function here. I just going to say handle event and here I just going to say console.log. Okay, and here you say button by class based class component. Okay, and here if you want to call this button, then what you need to do, okay, you need to use a keyword called this. Okay, so here you need to use a keyword called this, and here you need to mention what is the button that you want to call. So here this dot handle click. Okay, and just remember that you should not execute here. You are going to call only this event only executed. If event is occurs, then it will be invoked. Okay, you should not use the parenthesis here while while calling it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Here you can see button clicked by class based component, and that one is function based component, and this one is class based component. Okay, so this is how we need to add it. Okay, so that is the another thing. So here this keyword refers to what? So this keyword refers to a class. Okay, so that is why it is going to handle the event. Okay, so if I ask for this dot handle event, it is referring to the classes. So that is why if I ask something for it, it can able to call it. Okay, so because it is right now this component, this return, this render is inside that class only, so it is refers to the object that is calling. This is always refers to a property, sorry, object that the function is property of, right? So that is why, so here this refers to that one, so that is why it is calling here. Okay, so that is the one thing. So this is how we need to add an event listener, and we have to work with the event listener. Then this is the one thing. Now we will discuss about states. And when we are working with the states, the event listener, we need to do a little bit change here. First, we will see what is states and what is the relationship between states and the event handlers. So event handlers, like what I say React. So React, we have an initial stage, okay? And we have an final stage. And if React need to go for initial stage to final stage, it need an event listener. If someone clicks it, for example, a button having a click as an inner content, okay, and then another button that is going to have a inner content of subscribed. Okay, click subscribe. And if the button need to change from clicked to subscribe, then it should have some event listener. Okay, so that's what the event listeners are, click event or those things. Okay, when this event listener is occurs, then the content of that button is changed to the event, like what is the content that we have added. Okay, so for that what we need, here you can able to see this one, right? A div. Okay, so this button is going to have access for the initial stage and also the final stage, right? So it need to have an access for the initial stage and also final stage. So for that what we will do means, we will create and centralized space. Okay, we will create a centralized space where inside that component, remember that there is a difference between props and states. Props or like data property, we will share from one place to another. Okay, we will share the data from one place to another. But states are, it will be within that component. Okay, it is used to do within that component. Okay, we will convert the state and we will convert the state into a props, and then we will convert it. That's another thing. But the states are main purposely why it is used for. It is used to stay within the state, within that component. Okay, here we're going to create a component, a state. Okay, so like a data. Okay, so that is going to be within this component, and that data is going to contain the stages of the component, how it need to change. For example, practical example, I'm going to say, if you want to create a state in class based component, and we know that in classes if you want to store data, then we have a constructor property, right? What this constructor property will do? The constructor property, sorry, constructor method is a default method that is used to store the data, right? It is used to store the data inside it. How we will use it to store the data? Okay, so we just want to store the data by, we're just going to say props, props, and here we will use super, and let us ask for what are the methods that are be defaultly available. That is, so this is syntax. Okay, sector and super. The super method is used to fetch all the method that we want from the component. Okay, so right now it is not needed, but we will add it here. And now if you want to set a state, then what you need to do, we will use this dot state. Probably in normal classes, we will get a parameter and we will use it here. Here I'm going to give directly the value. Value is going to be an object. Object is going to be message. Okay. Message that is going to say click me. Okay. So this is a message. Okay. This is an object. Okay. You can see this is the state. Okay. Let's say it is the initial stage. Okay. So now I'm going to use this stage inside my button. Right now it is default button, right? I don't want default button. Here I need to use the state message. So how can we access this state? Very simple. Use the curly braces because it is a JavaScript code and say this dot state. This dot state. And, and here you just want to say dot message. And what we are asking, well, this dot state inside this object, we have a message. I need whatever the content that is inside this message, I need to display inside the button. Now, if I save it, you can see nothing has changed. It is still click me. I change it to click me with an apostrophe. Now, if I change it, you can see we are getting it. Right? Explanatory, not apostrophe. Okay. We are getting that. Right. So now what I want to do, when someone clicked it, okay, when someone clicked this one, I need to, if the button is clicked, I need to change this one, this dot state dot message to a subscribed. Okay, so right now it is click me message, right? It need to change to subscribe. Okay, how can I do it? That is my final method. So how can I do it in class based component? It is pretty complex. Okay, so let me discuss it with an error. Okay, we're going to get an error and we're going to discuss it. To set the state, we're going to have a default method is there. So what is the default method is, we're going to have something called as this dot set state. Okay, so the set state method is used to set the state of it. So now we're going to use it. You can able to see here, button is here and this button is clicked. Okay, so this handle is going to invoke, and here I just going to say console.log. Okay, what is this dot set state? You can see dot set state. And what is this dot set state? And if you just simply save it, and if you click it, you can see, sorry, let me add this one. Okay. You can see we are getting an error. So what we are getting, cannot read the property of undefined reading set state. So actually what is this set state is? Set state is a method. Okay, so it is a function that is used to change the state of a component. So now what I'm going to do, I just going to use it. Say this set state. Okay, set state, and here inside this one, you need to tell what you need to change. So right now I'm having an object. So this object, I just want to change the message, okay, to something called as hello subscribe. And now if I click it, you're going to get an error again. Let me see what is the error is. So you can able to see that again we are getting an error like cannot read the property called this dot set state. This is the error that we are getting. So why we are getting this error? Okay. So why we are getting this error is because right now here the this is not refers to the class. Okay, so here the this is inside a function and this function is refers to something else. Okay, not to the class. So now here you can able to see here, if I just uncomment of it, and here if I ask for console.log console.log this, and if I ask for it, clear it, and if I click it, you can see we are getting undefined. So why we are getting undefined? Because we know that uh, sorry, we know that If it is a function, okay, if it is a function and that it is going to be just a function, and if you use this keyword inside a function, then it is refers to the Windows object, right? So right now it is in a prototype. Okay, remember that this keyword is in a prototype, and it is going to refers. It's where it need to refers to means like normal terms where it will refers to. If you are use it in the normal JavaScript, if you added this keyword, so normally where it refers to means it will refers to the object that you have created. But here we have created a component, so it is not an object that the function is property of, right? So that is why this is not referring to. So now what I need to do, that is why it is giving undefined. So now what I need to do, I need to change the scope of this keyword. Okay, I need to change the scope of this keyword. Instead of it refers to the parent, like parent object, it need to refers to the place where it is declared. So it is right now declared inside the class component, right? So right now this keyword I need to refers to the class component. So what can I do for that? So basically this keyword is a dynamic one. Okay, so dynamic one is where you are declared. Okay, where you are declared, based on that the scope is determined. But right now we are going to change this keyword dynamic to a lexically scope. So based on where it is declared, like based on where it is returned. Okay, so it is going to their scope is going to be determined. Okay, so that is what it is. And if you don't know about that lexical scope, dynamic scope, based on where they are declared, based on where they are executed, you don't know about that means was the previous video, previous like last month JavaScript advanced to beginner, we have covered it. Okay, so this keyword is a dynamic keyword. It is basically where it is executed. Okay, it looks for someone. Here we are asking this dot handle event, and this is going to refers for something that is before this object, but there is nothing something like that, right? So that is why we are getting undefined. So now I just want to change the dynamic scope of this into a lexical scope, which means that this keyword need to refer to the class component. So that is actually there are a lot of way to do this, but one of the most common ways is using an arrow function. Okay, so instead of using an normal function, using an arrow function help us to solve this problem. For example, you can use an arrow function, and now ask for it. You can see it is refers to the event, the class event that is executed, the handle event that is executed, right? So it is referring to that particular event, not an undefined. So either you can use an arrow function here, or you can use an arrow function here. So what arrow function will do means, arrow function basically change the scope of this keyword instead of dynamic to an lexically scope. So where it is declared, based on that the scope is like it is going to be said. For example, here it is declared, right? So here it is executing the class event. Okay. So what is the class event that is contained? It is going to having there. So here now you can use this one instead of here. If I ask for what is this dot set state, as per it, what is the set state, you can able to see the set state is a function, and that is going to have two things. One is the partial state, okay, and another one is a callback function. Okay, so the callback function is an optional one. So the partial state is nothing but the state that we going to set. Okay, that is going to be the partial state. So now what I'm going to do, I just going to remove it, and the state is going to be this dot set state, and this is going to be the state I want to set. Now if we save it, you can able to see nothing. Now if I click it here, you can able to see the message click me is changed to subscribe. So what has happened, well, if I click it, the state is getting changed. The state is getting changed. So once the state is gets changed, then it is going to render it again, and we are going to get the subscribe button. So you need to know that another thing, that is when React will renders. Okay, so that is the next component. So right now this is event handlers. So if you use an arrow function, probably you will get an accurate result that what you are executing instead of a normal function, first one, because we need to always this keyword refers to the class, not to some other, like something others to the prototype what it is created like that. Okay, so that is what it is, first one. And second one is when React renders and when React re-renders. So here in the constructor, I'm just going to say console.log1. Okay, this is console.log1, and this is console.log. Inside this render, I'm just going to say console.log, and inside this quick event, I'm just going to say console.log. Okay, now we can able to see when React renders and when React re-renders. So now you can able to see we get 1 and 2. So what is happening once the state, once the component is set, okay, once the component is reader, so it is going to render the constructor function first, and the state is set. Then it is going to execute the render function. And we know that this event handlers executes only when the function will be executed, right? Only function, yeah, only a function only when the event handler is executed, then only the function execute, right? So now if I click it, this is going to execute console.log3, right? If I click it, you can see we are getting 3 and we are getting again 2. So what is happening here? So this is the one of the another thing that you want to remember. So React will always render the component. Okay, React will always render the component when a state is set, when a new state is set. So when the component is loading, during that time, React renders the constructor function and React's renders it. Okay, but in some case, in some other case, if a state is changed completely, for example, here you can see the state is changed completely to subscriber to click me, right? So here it is changed. So right now what will happens means React will render again. You can see that is why we are getting 2. So constructor, render, event handler, the state is set, again the React is render. So whenever you are setting a new state, whenever the state is changed, the React will render its component. Okay, so that is the best thing. Okay, so here this is all about class based, how to work with the state and the class based component. And right now you can understand what is state. A state, this is click me is the starting stage. Okay, and this is what my ending stage. And when the event handler is occurs, the starting stage need to change to ending stage. Here I don't tell go and get the document dot element by id and put dot inner html. When someone clicks it, you need to get the element inner html and you need to change the inner html to something else. Whether we have worked with any DOM operation, actually no, right? So what I said, I have a state that is my centralized space where everyone can access. So whatever you are giving here inside this component, anywhere you can able to access it. That is what the centralized state. Not only component, you can access it anywhere for anything. Okay, you can able to access it. So we created a state, a centralized data for everything, where whenever someone wants it, they can go and access it. That's one. And second one is going to be, I say the starting stage, I have an ending stage, I connected an event listener. This event listener occurs, the starting stage is converted to an ending stage. Okay, and there is no DOM process we have been executed. React itself take care of the DOM process and it will created it. And that kind of process is called as virtual DOM. Well, React will, how it is doing that means whenever we are writing a component, React will create a virtual DOM. Okay, so it will create a DOM, and we need to just simply say this component is having an event listener, and when someone clicks it, it need to change to this component, and React will find out an optimized way to travel through this component, this virtual component, virtual DOM, and it will change it. We don't want to worry about the node things and everything. We need to go for sibling changes, child changes. No matter wherever it is that, it will takes care of it and it is going to change it. Okay, so that is called imperative programming language. Okay, so that is how this will work here. Okay, so yeah, so under the states in we will discuss about states in functional component bit later, and we have discussed about the list rendering concepts already. So we will go and jump into the how to render a component that comes real world. Okay, when it is in a real world, how to render a component and how can we work with that. So that is we're going to discuss it now. Okay, so now what we going to do, so before that one, let me let me create a component. Okay. So let me create a component. Here I just going to say list render.asx. Okay. Here we will create a function based component. I just say import React from React, and here it is going to be a function. Okay. I just going to say list render. Here it is going to be, and here it is going to be, it is going to return. Okay. It is going to return something, and what it is going to return is, here I just going to create a list, and it is going to render the list of it. Okay. So we will create a list first of all. Okay. So let us create a list of persons. Okay. So I just going to create con. Okay. And I just going to say, let's create something that is looks like some real world application. I just going to say person. Okay. Uh, person. Okay. Equal to, and here I just going to create like this, an object like this. Okay. So real world also you will work with something like this. And here I just going to create an ID. Okay. This is going to be one. And I just going to say name is going to be John. Okay. And I just going to say, age, age is equal to 23, like this. Okay. And now what we will do, we'll copy the same thing and paste it. And here we will change the ID to 2, and here we will change the ID to 3. Simply we created a nested object. That's what it is. Okay. So, like this. So now what we're going to do, first I just going to return undo. Okay. I just say, and now let us go for app.js. The button, we will left the button here. I just going to say list rendering. Okay. I think we haven't exported it. So I just going to say export default list render. Okay. And if I save it, and let us come here, and I just going to say list render. And if I save it, here we are getting hello. So now what I'm going to do, not only I just want the hello, I just want to render everything. So what we will do, well, create a JavaScript. We're going to write a JavaScript code so that we're going to create. Say person is the one, the array that is contained, and I just going to map it. Okay, and it is going to take a person. Okay, and this into return to return, okay, and another component, and that component is going to have all other things. So what I'm going to do is I just going to create a component called person, and that person is going to get everything. So I just going to say key. So we know why we need to give a key. If you don't give a key for a each and every unique component, then it is going to throw us an error for us. So I'm just going to say person dot id is our key. Most case it is id. Okay. So then because we need to give it unique name. So IDs are mostly unique when it comes to a data. Okay, but whatever you want to give, you can give it. Okay. And then what I want to do, I just need to pass this object that we are getting inside it. Okay. Right now the problem is we don't have any person, right? So let me create a person component, a dummy person component. Okay. Don't care about the error because we don't have component. You say React from React. Okay. And here I just going to say on person is a component, and here I just going to say return. Okay, I just going to say assume, say hello world, and we will export it. Export default. Okay, so that's what it is. And here in the list entry, we just say import person from dot slash react. Yeah. Okay. Now we are getting tell for three times because the loop is running for three times. Why? Because we having component three components. So for all the component, it is going to run it. So instead of writing tell every time, we're going to have props. Okay. And I'm just going to ask for prop to show. And here, if you run it, you can get a person object that contains an ID, name, and everything. So I'm just going to say person dot prof dot person. Okay. Now you will get only object that is having inside the person. That is what we are getting. It is going to be ID, name, and age of a person. Okay. So now, if I what are the things that I want inside this object is want. Okay. Here it is going to be prop dot out of here. We don't want ID. We need a name. Okay. I just going to say a name. And here you need to tell like this because it is a JavaScript variable. Now you will get all the name of the person. So you can add this one inside enhance one. Okay. And for other information, like for example, like this is paragraph. Okay. For paragraph, here I am going to add age. Right now we don't destructure the age. We destructure it here age, and we are getting it here. So now what I'm going to do is okay. Now what I'm going to do is so I'm going to check for if whether the age is going to be like some conditions. Okay, so some condition I'm going to check. If the condition is true, okay, so then we will show that. Okay, if the condition is not true, we should not show that. Like we don't want to show it. Okay, for example, here what I can say, like what we can say, like this, uh, this mm, I can add a membership. I can say membership is the membership is false. I don't want to add it. Okay. And if the membership is true, then I just want to display the name of it. Okay. You filter it out. Okay. That is why. Okay. Membership is going to be true. And here I just going to add the same membership for the third one. So now what we can do, now what I want to do, here I just want to show only the membership portion, not the non-membership person. So what we can do is here we can create a result, uh, create wait, here we can create a filter. Okay. In this filter, what we can do, we will create a separate state, okay, and we will store it here. For example, here I just going to say const, okay, and what I can say const, const. This is going to be filtered array, filtered array, okay. So we can filter, okay. We don't want confuse. We go with map, okay. We have it here, and let me add the membership here, okay. So, and here we will add the member membership membership. I'm just going to add an paragraph tag, and if the paragraph tag is the membership is. Okay, here let me go for membership. Copy this one and we can paste it here. Membership. Right. Whatever. Uh, okay, it is a Boolean value, so I just going to add it in a string. Okay, let me say true, and then it is going to be a false like this. Okay, we are getting false, true, and everything. So now what I want to do here, I just want to do some condition checking. If the membership is true, okay, if the membership is true, then I just want to say uh, welcome. If the membership is false, then I want to say oh not like not having access like this. So what we can do basically we will do different stuff, right? So here we remove this paragraph tag. We will just say an h1, create an h1 tag, create inside an h1 tag. Basically we will create an default class and we will check it. But we already know that in year 6 we have a ternary operator. We can use this ternary operator to check the things. If I say membership, if suppose that membership is true. Now, if it is true, what I want to do, I just want to say inside it, okay, um, okay, like this. Suppose if the membership is false, then it is going to be say not allowed, not allowed, like this. And now you can able to see we are getting welcome for all the one. Okay, we are getting welcome for all the one. The reason why it is, the reason is because here we changed it to a string, right? That is why I changed it to a string. So when it comes in under a string, okay, you need to know about that. JavaScript have a truthy value and falsy value. If it is an empty string, then it is considered as a false value. But if it is an string, anything that inside it, then it is considered as a truthy value. So now if you save it, you can see not allowed. Now it is here because right now the value is going to be false. So let us change that again into a boolean value, or you can the falsy value or truthy value. Okay. Now I just change it to a boolean value like this. Okay. Now what I'm saying, so if a person, if the membership is expired, then he need to show that allowed, not allowed, and if it is not, he need to show it. And we will use it for lots of time. So if a component, for example, we haven't discussed about state much, right? So tomorrow only we're going to discuss about the states, and we're going to work with the states and everything. So whenever we are having a state, okay, so initially you can able to see we have so much of data, right? But initially what will happen, we don't have any data. Okay, that is just an empty array initially. So during that cases, what I need to do, I need to show them a loading icon. Okay, basically you will experience in all the applications. You are just started to go and search for something, it will load it, right? Why means because it is fetching data up to you. Same like that. Here also, initially right now it is having some data, that is why it is displayed. Okay. If it is not, if the array is an empty array, then what I need to do? I need to check the array length, and if it is an empty, then I need to show the users a loading icon to make the engagement. And if once the everything is set, okay, the state is changed, okay, so it is changed and every data is set to up to mark, then I need to allow them to see. Okay, so that is what conditional rendering is. Okay, so checking the condition, and based upon that, so in JavaScript checking the condition, we will return a value. Okay, so that's what we will do. But React returning a component, checking a condition based upon the component. If the state is empty, a loading component will send. If the state is not empty, then what will happen, it will set the component with data. Okay, so that's what the state will do. Okay, so tomorrow we will going to dedicate a whole day, like the whole hour for states only. Okay, we will discuss about state, and we will discuss about hooks and how to work with hooks, and we will work with the lifecycle component also. Not everything, the one two hooks possibly, and we will discuss about one lifecycle method. Yeah, possibly this is what happens. Okay, So this is what happened. This is what we're going to discuss tomorrow. Okay, states and everything. Okay, and this continuation of this React class will be taken by Nabitu Biswasar, where you will see that you can see that. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, Shion Roy, like you don't want to worry about that because people usually don't watch it in the live. They will see it in the recording and they will again send it in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so they I submitted the attendance form. I watched it after 9:30. I like that they will say that. Okay, you don't want to worry about that. Okay, so now I share you an attendance form. You can fill that attendance form. Yeah. Okay, so we can fill the attendance form. So those who are in live or those who are going to watch it later, for those people, the live chat is always enabled. Watch the recording and just fill the attendance form. And once you fill the attendance form, and we will get the Google form, like we will get this. Around 20 people are attending the workshop regularly, and just fill it out. That's fine, more than enough. And yeah, once you fill that, just inform to me. Okay. So if you have any doubts, also you can ask me. We have 2 more minutes. We can end the session after that. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you all. And tomorrow's the last day going to be that. And those people who are watching it in the recording, don't forget to fill all the 4 forms. Okay. Once you fill all the 4 forms, you will get the certification links and everything. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all.